Hey everyone, welcome back to T-Minus on YouTube. For those of you who don't know what T-Minus is, it's basically when we go live here on our YouTube channel to count down the next video drop. So right now, our latest video has been uploaded. It is processing. We're going to try to wait till it gets to 4K at 60 so you can watch it at the utmost quality. But until then, I wanted to give you some of my thoughts on the Pixel 3 as well as just give a lot of you guys a taste of what our followers over on Twitch get every single day. So I'll be answering your questions. But anyway, this video was kind of interesting to film because for those of you who don't know, I have a Pixel 3 on the way. I did not order it myself. A friend of mine known as For the Love of Tech bought me one, and he challenged me to well, you could just say a challenge. So basically the challenge is I use the Pixel 3 as my daily driver for an entire month. And if I get it for a month, then if I use it for a month, then I get to keep the phone. Audio not syncing. Let's see if I can do anything about that. We switch to ugly FaceTime for a second, then we switch back. Sometimes that helps. How about now? Tell me about audio now. Oh, good. YouTube likes to make everything out of sync. How about now? Let me read the chat. Pixel 3, I would disagree, is not okay. Better, worked for me, better. Cool. Glad we got audio working. See, I never have this problem on Twitch. YouTube's just bad at this. All right, so here's some of my thoughts on the Pixel 3 that did not make it into the video. See, basically, most Pixels seem to be having this problem, especially on the back when it comes to scratching. But wait! It's not scratching. That seems to be the follow-up response every time I complain about it. It's just residue from the objects that are touching it that happen to be rubbing off whenever they touch the glass. Okay. It doesn't change the fact that it looks bad. It's an imperfection on the back. I don't know how else to describe it other than scratch. Doesn't really change the fact that the scratch can be altered a little bit. It doesn't easily wipe off. If it did, Marquez wouldn't have so many scratches on the back of his Pixel 3 in his review. Everything with Marquez is about being utmost pristine, very clean, everything's high quality, and yet he could not find a way to get that Pixel 3 to not have a completely botched up back. Now, the other thing I want you guys to remember moving forward with this is the phone is been out for about a week, for about maybe 2 weeks for Marquez. Maybe he got it early, but if it's only been 2 weeks and we're already getting buffs and scratches that are this noticeable, and I know there's YouTube channels that are like, they're not technically scratches because you can wipe them off. You can't wipe them off with your finger. You can't even wash them off with water. You have to get dish soap, rub it onto the phone, get a toothbrush, and take a good 10 minutes of just scrubbing as much as you want. And even when you do that, you still can't get some of these residue stains off. So that's why I call them scratches. I don't care if they don't fit your exact definition of scratch because they might. I saw the Erica Griffin video. She didn't explain it. She showed how to numb down the effects, but it didn't get rid of the scratches. And also, scrubbing your phone with dish soap and a toothbrush is not a solution to the problem. That's still a design defect. How come ChargeGate is a big issue for the internet when the solution is turn the screen on? You know, just plug in the phone with the screen already on. That fixes ChargeGate. Also, Apple fixed ChargeGate in a week. That is a software bug. Doesn't require a recall. Very easy to fix. Scratchgate cannot be fixed with a software patch. And I also don't think the solution is, well, just start scrubbing your phone with dish soap and a toothbrush for 10 minutes a day. That's not a solution. That's not an answer to the problem. And this is already a running problem 2 weeks into the launch. This is the same phone Google's going to be shipping for months and months throughout 2019. This is being released at the end of October. There's only 2 months in 2018 this phone's going to be sold. And then throughout the release of the Galaxy S10, the OnePlus 7, new iPhones even, we're going to be watching these Pixel 3's back scratch. But they're not scratches because they're just residue. It's just residue that can't come off, that you can't exactly wipe it off. Use a case. So the solution is, for your $900 purchase, you should buy even more cases. You know what this is? It's called a poor design. It's very simple. It means that Google doesn't really test anything before they release it. Arturo X says, Louis Grossman is like a greasy, slimmy used car salesman. Just saying, keep up the great work, Talos. Well, thank you very much. I don't mean to. I don't want to direct any disrespect to Louis Grossman, though. I appreciate the super chat. If it was residue, you could wipe it off. That's my point of why I don't get why there's so many people. Like, I made this tweet earlier today. Maybe you guys don't follow me on Twitter, but this is basically how the tweet goes. So we have a problem with iPhones, which is that when you take pictures, you have less imperfections shown on your face. You look a little clearer. This is a problem. Apple, you need to fix this. My phone is $1,000. Shouldn't have any problems. This is an issue. When is Apple going to fix this? Okay, once again, this is a software bug, or it's just HDR performing better because there's better lighting conditions. Doesn't even apply to most people. A lot of people couldn't even get it to recreate itself. But then, when we have a hardware problem, what do YouTubers say? I'll just slap a D brand on there. Get a D brand. So the answer to a design defect for a Google phone is a sponsorship. When there's a software bug, it's a serious issue. It becomes ChargeGate when there's a bug. It's not scratches. It's just something that looks like an imperfection on the back of the phone that you can't take off very easily. I don't care that someone took dish soap and a toothbrush to the back of the phone. That doesn't change the fact that it's a design problem. And if you watch the Erica Griffith video, she doesn't even get all the scratches off. They're still there after scrubbing it for 10 minutes. You know something I don't have to do with my iPhone? Brush it with dish soap every day. Let's hope that water resistance can withstand soap. Really hope it can. But there's more than just problems with the scratch gate problem. Let's ignore that. Let's just say, okay, what if Google just says everyone gets a free case? If you bought a Pixel 3, we'll include a case, kind of like Steve Jobs did with AntennaGate. When people complained about that, he said everyone can get a free case. Okay, so there's other problems with the Pixel 3 as well. Scratches can be fixed with a software update. Yeah, no. The hardware within the Pixel 3 is significantly slower than other phones that have been out for a long time that are cheaper and supposedly the same chips. I'm talking specifically about the Snapdragon 845. So in speed tests, like everything Apple Pro demoed us, he showed that the Snapdragon 845 can be quite speedy in terms of launching apps, managing the phone with the OnePlus 6 versus the iPhone 10. Did a pretty good job. The OnePlus was a very fast phone, very snappy phone. Even Samsung phones compete with the iPhone very, very competitively, even though the Snapdragon 845, as we know in Geekbench tests, does not perform as well as the A12 chip that is included in iPhones. We know that, but Geekbench isn't something people do on a daily basis. We're talking about the everyday use tests. Usually they're pretty neck and neck. Sometimes OnePlus is in the lead, sometimes iPhone's in the lead, but when you're comparing the Pixel 3 to the XS Max, it's not even close. It is like, and this is not an exaggeration, with everything Apple protest, it was a sheer 50% slower. The XS Max was finishing round 1 and 2 just about, just under 3 minutes. It's a pretty good speed for an iPhone, pretty good clock. The Pixel 3 was finishing round 2 at around 7 minutes. Okay, what this means, well, some people are like, well, normal people wouldn't notice it. If normal people wouldn't notice it, then they should just buy a cheaper phone. Because what are the advantages to the Pixel here now? Because now you're spending top dollar on this way Google Android is supposed to be used. This is the way Android was meant to be used. And it can't even run apps in the background because they only gave it 4 gigs of RAM. Now, there may be people out there saying, well, Drew, the XS Max starts at $1,100, or in my country, it starts at $2,000. So, not the same comparison, given the Pixel 3 starts at $900. That's a whole $200 cheaper. Well, iPhone XR is now available. It has the same A12 chip. I'm guessing in the speed tests, the iPhone XR and the XS Max aren't going to be that different. But, guess where the XR starting price is? It's $50 cheaper than the low-end Pixel 3. Not to mention giant chin, giant forehead for an $800 smartphone. It's bezel-less. Yeah. So speed-wise, It's mostly due to the fact that Google did not design much of a heatsink. They did not try to figure out how to cool down the Snapdragon 845 and the Pixel 3 to try to get it to perform better. It's not expensive to do this. Companies with much less resources have been able to pull this off, like Razer was able to get some of the highest Geekbench performance and also just real use performance out of the Snapdragon 845 we've ever seen in 2018. Snapdragon 845, it's not the fastest CPU. Obviously, the A12 is, but it's still decently fast for a lot of Android OEMs out there. Razer Phone has developed an extremely efficient way of cooling down the CPU and is able to get the performance much, much higher than any other smartphone. Razer Phone 2 is also going to be delivered here at the Tailosive office in a couple days, on Tuesday. Actually, we're getting the Razer Phone 2 on Tuesday. I'm excited. So it's not to say that it's just because it runs Android I don't like it. I'm excited for certain Android phones to come out, and the Razer Phone is one of them. Just they're able to cool down the CPU so it can act normally. The OnePlus is also able to cool down the CPU and get it to overclock a little bit more than advertised. And Google did none of this. They didn't try to cool it down at all. And that's why we're getting such low performance on this premium smartphone that's just now coming out. And that's how you get phones that are 9 months old that are cheaper, that even launch cheaper. It's not even the fact that, well, there's carrier deals now and there's cheaper ways to get it now. This is just flat out bad designing. The back was designed poorly, getting residue stains all over. I'm just calling them scratches. That's what they are. I don't care that it's not actually indenting the glass. It's a terrible, ugly imperfection in the phone. A lot of people compare it to jet black on the iPhone 7 Plus. For one, though, that was one color. It was not all the colors. For two, that was very hard to get on launch day in the first place. Jet black was incredibly rare, and it was more premium because you could not get it at 32 gigs. Also, three, Apple disclaimed the issue with jet black. When you were checking out a jet black iPhone 7, which, by the way, they don't sell anymore, it said at the bottom, jet black is a very delicate phone with a lot of abrasion, a lot of easy minor scratches, and we really recommend you get a case with it. At least, while you may complain about jet black, that Apple disclosed it. And they said, hey, this is a real delicate phone. Be careful. This one's really, really delicate. This problem with the Pixel affects every single color. They didn't disclose this as a problem up front and say, hey, you might want to get a case. And it's not like it was hard to get on launch day or something. So what's good about the Pixel? Well, you got that camera, which is really good at bokeh effects. And, I mean, the notch is pretty bad. I just ranted about the Pixel for a good 10 minutes, and I didn't even mention the notch. The notch is the least of the problem. I mean, the notch definitely is a problem. But the notch is an apparent example of how little the Google Pixel design team understands about design. You know, like, here's the thing. When Google was designing the Pixel 3, it's not like they didn't know that iPhones would have notches. Because they did. The iPhone 10 is a year old now. So when Google was designing the Pixel 3, they already saw the backlash from the iPhone 10. They didn't look at that and think, oh, there's an advantage. We could do something different than what from Apple did and make it better. And be like, don't get the iPhone, get our phone. Instead, what do? They ignore all the complaints about the notch. Why do people not like the notch? It intrudes. It cuts in on content. Okay, it's a compromise. They wanted Face ID, but I understand people's frustrations, okay? The notch is not ideal. We want to get rid of it. But they see all these complaints about the notch, and they go, let's push it in further. Look, you're mostly looking at this part of the display, right? This is where your eyes are going. That's why a lot of people tolerate the notch, is because, you know, you don't look at that part of your phone very much. So instead, they start pushing the notch further down, closer to the part of the phone that you look at the most. It's the complete opposite of what a company should have done in response to the iPhone 10. Okay, super chat from Arturo says, did you see the video by Rene Ritchie of I Morley the Smackdown and Linus Tech Tricks? What a beautiful butt whooping. I don't I've really tried to back off of being a react channel because I know a lot of people are annoyed with that. I know it's easy to get views for me to just create YouTube drama and start talking about other YouTubers and why they're wrong, but that brings a ton that brings a ton of that fan base over, and then it destroys my fan base because then everyone just learns who I am, and then the other big YouTubers want to respond to me, and it creates more drama. But there's plenty of other YouTubers out there that are responding to YouTubers that say disagreeing things. So there's plenty of people out there doing that. That's why I don't watch Linus Tech Tips. So when people talk about that, I don't even know who Reen Ritchie is, or I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how to pronounce his name. I'm not very social with that group. But from what I've learned, Linus said some pretty weird things about the 10S in his review that a lot of people were confused by. So, yeah. Android with notches annoy me. The iPhone notch has a purpose, and I feel like 2022, it will be gone. Well, the funny thing is, Apple will probably figure out a way to remove the notch, but no other phone will have it. So now you're going to get a bunch of cheap Androids with notches, and then iPhones are the phones without the notch, and they have the more clean design, but they're going to be expensive because Apple knows they could get away with charging a premium price point. So, yeah. I think Linus is really, really good when it comes to PC stuff. You don't see me talking about graphics cards, because if I did, I'd probably mess it up. I've tried to talk about gaming PCs in the past on my gaming channel. People don't like it when I talk about gaming PCs. So, similarly, Linus is very much a PC guy. When he starts going into the smartphone market, he probably misses a lot of things that confuse a lot of people. So it's understandable. Thank you for the donation, Muhammad. Did you just say Linus was good at... Yes, Linus is good at things. Linus is good at reviewing PC stuff. He's a desktop, laptop kind of computer type channel. How much Pixel 3 cost? Well, too much. To be frank, in my opinion, you should merge the OnePlus company. Google should buy OnePlus. They should just buy them out. That's the only way Google can get anything done, is they buy things out. Merge the OnePlus 6T with the Pixel 3. Put them together into one phone called the OnePlus 6T, and then just sell that. A bezel is a full-size notch. The notch is a partial bezel. Sorry, we just got weed legalized. Cheers from Canada. It's fine, Brondo. I don't know what that has to do with it, but yeah, a notch is a partial bezel, but it is an irregularity. People are used to the top of their phone doing this. Now it does this. So a lot of people look at it as an intrusion. I didn't say to ruin OnePlus. I literally just said just keep selling OnePlus phones and stop selling Pixel phones. All you need is Google's AI and machine learning put on to any other camera. The reason the Pixel camera is good is not because of the hardware. It's a standard regular lens. The only difference is how the software on the phone handles the camera. You could put that AI and machine learning on any other phone. They just choose to put it on just the Pixel. Why are you not on Twitch? We usually stream on Twitch every single day, but today we're showing our YouTube viewers what they're missing. So if you guys like live content, getting your questions answered live, be sure to follow us on Twitch. But today we're treating our YouTube audiences out there. You gonna do a Pixel Slate review? Probably not. I really don't want to buy one, but I have seen people using it. There's a Pixel hardware store in New York, and we have some fans out there that I'm in contact with that use the Pixel Slate at the store. It's incredibly laggy. Just throwing that out there. He sent me the videos, actually, which I have. They look really, really laggy. It does not look good. So I'm imagining this thing with the Intel Celery CPU is showing its lagdom. So it's not just Marquez who's experiencing the lag. Yeah, it's definitely a problem. JW fan says, Reen Ritchie is logical and practical in his arguments and spends a lot of time fighting Apple hate just like you. Would be a good YouTube contact for it. Well, thanks for letting me know. I knew who he was. It's just I watch a lot of content on YouTube, and when you talk about tech all day, you don't really feel like watching channels that talk about tech all day because that's already what you hear. So I watch more channels like this. I actually don't spend most of my time in the tech genre when it comes to watching videos. Jason Ong says, "Who will use the iPhone XR since you are stuck with the Pixel?" Xander will probably use it for a while. I will use it from afar. Obviously, I can't put my SIM in it because I'll be agreeing to the Pixel 3 challenge. But the 10R will be around, so I'll get to give you my impressions on it. You know, we'll get to unbox it and stuff. The challenge is I use the Pixel, but basically the 10R will stay at the office and it won't really leave the office. Whole Pixel line is an afterthought. Yeah, I mean, like the keynotes get like smaller and smaller and smaller every year. The CEO is like not even at the last one. And I understand maybe he had an emergency, maybe he couldn't be there. I'm not trying to disrespect him or anything. And I'm not saying I'm not saying he's a bad CEO for not being at the Pixel event. All I'm saying is that I don't really think. I mean, it's possible that maybe there was an emergency, he couldn't make it. But what's far more likely is he just doesn't really care. And I don't blame him. The Pixel line, clearly they're not putting much thought into it because they've had consistent issues with optimization, as I found on the OG Pixel and the Pixel Book. They don't optimize their hardware to work with their software. They don't communicate with the design team, with their marketing team. The marketing team always ends up shooting themselves in the foot. The marketing team always makes stupid ideas of saying, our phone still has a headphone jack. Then they remove it a year later. We don't need a dual camera. And then a year later, they add a dual camera. There's so little marketing. There's so little communication between the Pixel team and the rest of Google. Like, I don't think Google's a bad company. They do a lot of great things. I think Google's great at services. They're great at search engine. They're a wonderful search engine. They're great at Google Drive. There's a lot of creator problems I have with YouTube. But from a viewer point of view, YouTube is very, very thought out and very, very helpful to creators like me. But the Pixel stuff that Google does is really, really a giant afterthought. They are great at services. Anything Google makes that's under $100 is great. Like the Google Home Mini, it's fine. Cheap little smart speaker, real easy to use, it's fine. The Chromecast works really well. Chromecast audio works fine. Anything cheap they make. If you were forced to change to either Windows or Android, what would you choose? Love your videos, by the way. Keep up the good work. Preferably neither, but if I had to choose one, it would probably be... I really hate Windows. I've used Windows a lot, and it's garbage. Man, I don't know. I guess, like... I use iOS more than I use Mac OS, so I'll choose Windows. Because then I could keep my iPhone, and I use that more often. Drew, you should show the Pixel Slate lag video. I don't know if it'll show up very well on stream here because it's a very low quality video, but yeah, my desktop's cluttered enough right now. That's okay. You can take my word for it. It'll probably, the Pixel Slate lagging videos that our fans sent will probably make their way into a tech video eventually. But it seems like the running theme with the Pixel brand is just not thinking things out. Not thinking about things, not testing things, not trying things, not optimizing things. And that's how you result with such crappy experiences. Like my friend John Prosser, who was sent a Google Pixel by Google, crashed every time he opened the settings app. Where's Lou now? Is Lou going to talk about this problem? Oh, and I forgot to mention, there's lots of reports on Reddit that people taking pictures with the Pixel 3, the pictures aren't being saved. You take the picture, and then it's gone. It's like a Snapchat for yourself. It's just click, and then never to be seen again. That's happening, like, regularly. That's a big problem on Reddit now. There's a lot of Pixel users complaining about this. Seems like Unbox Therapy loves going on Reddit and seeing what the biggest problem with iPhone is and making a whole video on it. Is he going to make a video about this? Probably not, because Google sent him the Pixel. Uh-oh. So I just figured that a lot of YouTubers right now are uploading their unboxing videos. They're uploading their reviews and talking about what they like about the thing. But I feel like no one's just sitting down and saying, I don't think this is going very well. I'm seeing a lot of problems. Can we just stop for a second as a community, a tech genre on YouTube, and just say, this is kind of a train wreck. This is really bad. We're not even a month into this phone's release, and it's got a dozen problems. And some of them aren't even software fixable. Some of these are hardware problems. Ugh. What do you think about the new iPads? I'm so excited. I haven't used an iPad in 2 months, and I'm so ready to go back to using one. I'm really looking forward to that keynote. No. Did I say he lied? No. I never said Unbox Therapy lied. I think he just picks and chooses which videos and which things to make criticisms about. I think when it comes to iPhones, he goes on hypersensitive, like, I'm going to complain about this. If I find any sort of problem, any software patch, even if Apple's already fixed it, I'm going to bring it up and act like I fixed the problem. Whereas if a Pixel has a bunch of problems, we go, well, get a D brand. Just get a D brand. We'll fix it right up. Just spend more money. Or it's not actually scratches. No, there's no scratches on the Pixel 3. Just wash it off. Exactly. I am describing myself with Google. You know what the difference is? I call myself an Apple sheep. I admittedly say on my channel I am biased because I believe in embracing your personal preference. You know what the difference is with Unbox Therapy? He's going to tell you he's objective. He's going to tell you he treats all phones fairly. Everything he treats exactly level. That's not true. I'm not saying Lou should change the way he's making his videos. I'm just saying be upfront with your audience. Say that you have a personal preference. Just bring that up. Just be like, now, I don't really like iOS. I prefer Android. That's my personal preference. And also, Google's not paying me. Google's not sending me things early. They tried to. I got an email a few days ago from Team Pixel, and they said, we want you to join Team Pixel, and they offered to send me a Pixel 3 for free. And I was like, wow, they really don't watch my YouTube videos. But I said yes because it was free, and I was like, sure, I'll take a free phone if this helps hurt your profits because I don't want Google to profit from this. I want the Pixel 3 to be a flop because I'm seeing all these problems. I'm seeing all of these unoptimized issues. And I'm just saying this needs to stop. You can't just slap hardware together and expect it to sell. You can't just make something expensive and be like, there, now it's an iPhone competitor. It's not. In the YouTube space, we act like the Pixel is a major player. It's an incredibly big flop. Well, the thing was, yesterday I was supposed to get my shipment notification from Google, and I didn't. So maybe they smarted up a little bit. Maybe they watch my channel and figure out, hold on a second, this guy's going to talk crap about the Pixel. And like I say, guys, if you don't like me, you don't have to watch me. I don't ask you to. I've never tried to come across as fair. I've always been upfront about my bias. I personally prefer Apple. I'm going to not criticize iPhones as much because I grew up with them. I'm used to them. I prefer iOS. So pretending to be objective to you guys would be lying. It's called being dishonest. And do you guys see how hard Lou can criticize an iPhone and then switch over to a Pixel and suddenly all of the complaints go away? Do I do that? How often? Whether it be, well, they removed the headphone jack on the iPhone. This is a problem. This is in efforts to get you to buy more adapters. Then the Pixel removes the headphone jack, and he's like, at least there's a fast charger. Oh my God, the notch. It's Notch City right now. Everyone's talking about notches. The next day uploads a video about the Pixel. You know, there's a lot more to this phone than the notch. Why are you all talking about the notch? Maybe because it's ugly and it looks disgusting. I'm just talking about consistency, people. And being upfront with you guys. Telling you exactly what my personal preference is. Everything you're watching on my channel is from the Apple user perspective, which means that the compliments I give Android are far more insightful because you know that I don't have an interest in Android, but I'm still complimenting it on something. Like the Razer Phone 2. Hopefully that's a big eye opener for a lot of you. As an Apple sheep, I'm excited for this Android phone coming on Tuesday. I'm really excited to try it out. And it changed my mind too. The Razer Phone 1 wasn't really that interested because they were using a lot of secondhand parts and older technology. Now they've really been updating the whole lineup, and now I think they've actually got a home run with the Razer Phone 2. I'm trying to be consistent here. Now, maybe you can find things that I've contradicted on myself in the past, but I could probably explain it pretty well. Unlike Lou, where I tried to reach out to him and say, look, there are people commenting on your channel right now. We're seeing a lot of contradictory statements with you criticizing the iPhone for certain things, but not the Pixel. And we don't feel like you're being very honest with us. And then mysteriously, these comments get deleted. So I asked him, why are you deleting these comments? And he said, I'm not deleting the comments. Maybe they're getting flagged and YouTube's taking them down. But we haven't really noticed that happening very often with other YouTube videos that diss the Pixel. You can write bad things about a YouTube channel. YouTube doesn't really take those down. So I reached out to him. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and say, no, he's not deleting the comments. Maybe it's the system. Maybe it's YouTube trying to protect. Maybe it's YouTube trying to protect hate against the Pixel. But I reached out to him and said, do you at least want to have like an interview where we can talk about this? Some of these statements and concerns people have with your integrity on the channel. And we got no response. See, to me, if people are questioning my integrity, I want to be upfront about it. My eyes zero in on those comments. Did people try to criticize my honesty or my consistency? I want to address that. I haven't noticed a consistent trend of YouTube taking down any comment that was dissing the Pixel. And the comments that were getting deleted on his video were not like mean, just like, oh, you suck. It wasn't that. It was people literally just saying like, I'm a long-term fan of this channel. I'm not even an Apple user. I prefer the Note 9. I just can't help but notice you treat the Pixel phone very differently than an iPhone. So, since that's the largest YouTube channel, well, largest tech YouTube channel that is, I figure what more hurt could I do just by doing the exact opposite? Except, be honest. Going to be straight up front with you guys, saying this is my personal preference. If I like something on the Android side, that should stand out because I prefer Apple. I'm an Apple sheep. I've grown up with Apple. That's my go-to. That's what I'm used to. So I just tell you guys. And if Google's going to try to send me a free Pixel, I'm also going to tell you that. I'm not going to change my opinion on the Pixel just because it was free. Google can't buy me out. What color 10R do I like best? Moving on to different topics. Blue. We got a 10R coming on the way as well. There's a lot of things Samsung does that I like. I like a lot of what Samsung does. Oh, boy. There we go. I'm excited to see the 6T. Yeah, the OnePlus 6T looks really, really good. I'm anticipating the OnePlus 6T will probably be the best Android phone of 2018. If I was jealous of Unbox Therapy, I'd watch his videos. No, I'm not jealous that Google tells me exactly what to say every video. Have you seen the Apple developers video on gestures? I haven't seen the developers video, no. But yeah, the OnePlus 6T I'm hoping is going to slaughter in sales this year. And I really hope the Pixel tanks because it really needs to. Google needs to like hurt with their sales in order to figure out that this isn't working. You can't. It's not as easy as just putting expensive hardware together and then throwing it out to the world without optimizing it, without trying to develop cooling systems or not testing the durability of the phone. All of this is because you know why we're having this giant Scratchgate issue? It's not scratches. It's residue. It just doesn't wash off. Whatever. I'm calling it a Scratchgate. You know what is the cause of this? It's because Google wanted to stay consistent with their stupid design scheme of the top being glass and the rest of it being matte. Matte finish, glass top. That's it. That's all they wanted to stay consistent with, because it's got to look like a Pixel. It's got to have the signature Pixel look. Just because of that, we're now putting up with this. That's called poor design for the sake of, but that's our look. That's our signature design. It has to look like that. But it has to look like that. Some of the residue you can't even wash off. Water won't even wash it off. You can't wipe it off. These are scratches that Erica created with keys. It's not even a knife. Dylan Digby says it's ignorant to say the hardware is the same when the visual core and Titan M are in the phone. Openly biased or not, you just sound uninformed now. What are you... the same when the visual core and Titan M are in the phone? Wait, what are you saying, Dylan? It's ignorant to say the hardware is the same? What do we have to trust with the Titan chip? Well, thank you for the super chat. But all they've told us about the Titan chip is that it's secure. You said it's the same as the Pocophone? Well, the CPU is. The Titan is a security chip. It's not the CPU. I'm the uninformed one. There's very similar hardware. So we should put up with slower, crappier phones because it's more secure? Meanwhile, we have all of Google Plus have a massive security breach, revealing hundreds of thousands of people's personal account details. The CPU is the same, Dylan. You realize the Titan does not affect the performance. That's a privacy chip. That's not the same. The Titan is not processing things. No, I know the phone is not just its CPU, but that's what processes the actions. You know, when you touch the screen, that's being handled by the CPU, the Adreno, the Snapdragon 845. You're paying for other features. Like what? Whatever the core is. I don't care what the visual core is. It's worse. It's 50% slower than a cheaper iPhone. Nedla says, do you feel like Painfully Honest Tech has somewhat turned into inbox therapy? I just feel he flip-flops and doesn't report on other brands' issues. Well, I don't want to comment much on Jason because I don't watch his videos, but all I know from what I've seen other people complain about is that oftentimes Jason will say one thing and then in a week change his mind about it, which definitely he's paid for in return to people unsubscribing or disliking what he says, because all of the things will stack up and then he'll change his mind at the last second. Like, I'm done with Apple, and then buy an iMac Pro, or say, I'm not pre-ordering the XS, and then I'll pre-order the XS, and then I'll be like, I don't think it's very good, and then a day later say, actually, it is very good. So I don't watch the videos, I'm sorry, but that's all I know that people are frustrated about, is just flip-flopping, which easily, if you flip-flop a lot on your opinion, people will start to question your integrity. That's pretty normal. I don't think he's lying, though. I don't think Jason's lying. I think he's just, his personal opinions kind of just flip-flop a little bit. When he tells you he doesn't want to pre-order the XS, I think he's telling the truth. I just think that within the next 12 hours, he might suddenly change his mind, and he's still believing everything he's doing. It's just when you're kind of inconsistent with your opinions like that, your audience might start to lose you a little bit. Google has a near monopoly on search and ads. It's where 90% plus of their revenue is generated. Is Google making terrible phones / hardware to frame themselves in larger markets to divert legal attention? Maybe. I mean, you're onto something there. Most of their revenue does come from that. There's definitely an argument to be made that perhaps the Pixel line is intentionally designed to be dumb. Basically, it feels like the Pixel is not trying to compete with anyone. As in, like, they're pricing themselves out of business. The Pixel phones definitely are not turning a profit. The chat is straight up goofy. Hey, John. How's it going? Introducing the iPad Pro 10. I'm excited for that. Thank you for the super chat, though, by the way. That's like saying the 10R is the same for having the same chip but lacking other features of the higher-end 10S. I was talking specifically about the fact that we have cheaper phones running Android with the same CPU, Snapdragon 845, and it's performing exceptionally lower end. That's all I was saying. I was saying that the slowness of the Pixel 3 is confusing to me, given that you can get phones with the same hardware, same CPU, same GPU in cheaper devices. Just because it has a Titan security chip, that doesn't make it different. And even if that does change everything for you, you're putting up with the Titan chip by making everything slower? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'll get the 10R on launch day when everyone else gets it. Snapdragon is trash for what you get. I mean, there are phones like the Poco phone that can get you that Snapdragon chip for very, very cheap, or the OnePlus. Like I said, the 845 is not a completely garbage phone. It's a CPU. It's not as fast as Apple chips are, but it's perfectly fine in phones like the S9 or the Note 9, which I've used, and I had fairly decent experiences with. And we've seen the speed tests with the Note 9 and the S9 compared to iPhones, and they're able to hold up pretty well. They're able to compete with the speed. You've yet to see a slow Pixel, honestly. MKBHD literally said his Pixel 2 is slowed down. It's forced him to switch to the OnePlus. Marquez, the guy who admittedly said he is biased towards the Pixel brand, he even admitted that it's slowing down. You know why it slows down? It's because they're shipping their phones with CPUs and GPUs that have been in phones for the past 9 months. And then they release them at $900 when there's already phones that are $500 with the same CPU. He's switching to Pixel 3. Yeah, that thing looks great. Have you seen the back of it? Why not criticize Lou's hypocrisy? He has no response. Backpage Tech. Thank you for the super chat. We've been working up a video, a somewhat hashtag Lougate video, for a while now. We're kind of waiting to release it because we want to see what he says about the Pixel 3. Kind of the last nail in the coffin that we're waiting on is he hasn't recommended the last two iPhones, both the iPhone 10 and the iPhone XS Max, and most of the time he'll say, this is great, I like this part of it, this part's nice, and I like this, and I like this, and this is good, and this is good, and this is good, and I like this, but it's $1,000, so don't buy it. It's not worth the price. Which has always made us go, well, you know, like, it's always confusing for us to suddenly backtrack and say the phone's not worth it because it's expensive. Because the majority of consumers these days are not paying full price for phones, and I feel like a lot of tech YouTubers are completely disregarding that fact. A lot of tech YouTubers are just like, wow, $1,100, that's insane. You can get this phone for $700. But a ton of people, most of the people who use the XS Max are never going to spend $1,100 on it. They're going to pay for it monthly. And that ends up equating to like less than $2 a day. And for those people, it's absolutely worth the upgrade. And I feel like you need to take that into account when you're reviewing smartphones. You shouldn't just say, the whole phone's great, I like this, I love this, and everything about it's great, but it's expensive, so don't buy it. Like, did he need to use the phone for 3 weeks to come up with that opinion? Or couldn't he have just said that the moment the keynote happened? But what we're waiting for is to see what he says about the Pixel 3 when it comes to recommending it. Will he suddenly change his mind and say, this phone's worth it, you should buy it, even though it's $900, configurable to $1,000 for 128 gigs, no expandable storage? So we're waiting to see what he says about that, and that'll be kind of the last nail in the coffin of like, okay, look, you haven't recommended the last two iPhones because of their price. You said they're good phones, but they're too expensive. Here comes a phone that's almost the same price. It's only $100 cheaper. You're missing out on dozens of things that it doesn't have compared to the iPhone. huge features, and for some reason that one's worth it. That's going to be an issue for me. So I would like to just bring this opinion up. He doesn't have to respond. If he would like to, I'd love to sit him down and have an interview. I'd love to start a conversation, as I tried to. I've tried to reach out to him and say, let's have a conversation about this. I don't want to make an attack video. I don't want to make a hit piece. I don't want to just start making wild accusations. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But if he's not interested in starting a conversation, then that kind of means that, okay, but we got to at least start a conversation on our side of the market. We got to at least start a conversation here so that it can be brought up to his fan base, and maybe they can start thinking about this. I want people to know that I don't criticize channels just because they don't like Apple. I love channels that don't like Apple quite often. And I love being challenged, basically. When I am obviously a big fan of the Apple ecosystem. I like watching channels that disagree, and I love hearing why they don't like it. Oftentimes, I intentionally watch channels that I don't agree with. And I really appreciate the people who watch my channel who don't agree with me, but still want to hear what I have to say, because I think we need a lot more of that on the platform. We need people that are okay with hearing not just word fuel to just regurgitate what they've heard on the internet. We need people that are okay with hearing an opinion, disagreeing with it, but still respecting the viewer. So I respect Lou, and that's why I never say I hate Lou or I hate Unbox Therapy. I think he's a great YouTuber. I think he's knows his audience well, and he's done a good job. But Lou's opinions don't really bother me. The problem is you guys keep bringing it up. I don't watch Unbox Therapy. I'm not subscribed to him. The way he reviews phones and tech, I don't really find insightful and interesting, so I don't watch him. But when half your audience all asks you what you think of a certain YouTuber's video every time they upload, it kind of becomes difficult to ignore, because as Talos of Tech makes videos, we intentionally will make content that people want to watch. So when a lot of our audience wants to watch an Unbox Therapy response video, that leans us in the direction of, okay, maybe we should make one. If you guys didn't ask for it, we wouldn't be doing it. So to the people out there who don't want those type of response videos and you don't want to hear me talk about other YouTubers, simply don't watch the video. You know, we upload every day. We also go live on Twitch for an hour and answer your guys' questions. I go out of my way and I lose money to make more and more content for you guys. If you want even more, we're uploading to Talos of Talks. We're streaming on gaming, on Talos of Gaming on Twitch. We're uploading movie reviews sometimes. We do all kinds of content that doesn't make us money, but it's all based on just what do people want to watch and what do I want to make. So if there's enough people, like there's all kinds of people that are just like, what do you think of Linus? What do you think of Linus? And I'm just like, I didn't see the video. But people keep asking about it. Makes you kind of go, okay, maybe we should respond, give the people what they want. But if you don't want to see that, don't click on the video. It's okay. It's not like you need to support me by watching the video. All I'm saying is, with your clicks, you kind of show us creators what you want to see. When we make videos about the Pixel and they get a lot of views, that tells us that you guys want to hear more about the Pixel. So we take that into consideration when making content. Okay, you guys are interested in the Pixel, so we'll talk more about that. So if a lot of people, obviously, are very interested in what I have to say about another YouTuber, then you show us your interest with your clicks. If you don't click, that's simply your way of showing us, okay, you're not that interested in that, and that's fine. If the YouTube responses didn't go very well, as they haven't in the past, then we won't make videos about it. Like when the Louis Rossman thing went down, and Louis Rossman made the attack vid on me that I thought got a little bit too personal, I apologized, and it really made me rethink what type of content I make, because I have to kind of meet in the middle and find what you guys want to see and what I want to make. You know, obviously, if you guys wanted me to make something I didn't want to make, and I was really passionate against making it, I really did not want to make that type of content, I wouldn't make it. But I don't mind responding to other YouTubers. I can enjoy it to a certain extent because it really helps me understand what I want to be as a creator. To point out when I see other channels like, okay, that's what I don't want. This is what I think a problem is. And I honestly think since Tailosive Tech has grown in popularity, tolerance of people who are okay with Apple has grown a lot on the tech community. Before I did YouTube videos that were very popular, I felt like everyone was against Apple, and there wasn't really any toleration of people who appreciated hardware-software integration. And I feel like the platform has changed a lot since I've got here. I still stand by everything I said in the video that Louis Rossmann said on me, but after that pouring in of hate in a lot of people who disregarded what I was trying to say in my video and were just listening to Louis Rossmann and going, yeah, screw him. It made me rethink that, and now I go very, very cautiously when I make videos about other channels. I don't do that lightly. I don't want to become a tech channel that just does that because we're Tailosive Tech, not Tailosive YouTuber Reviews. Maybe we'll make that channel someday. But I primarily want to talk about technology. I really don't watch a lot of tech content. That's why I don't really care to talk about it all the time. While it may be fun to collab with iJustine, that's another YouTuber I don't really watch. Never been subscribed to iJustine. I know who she is, but I don't really watch her all the time. So that's why a collab would be kind of like, I doubt she watches my videos, and I don't really watch hers. So I'm not sure why we should meet up. But, you know, if enough people demanded it, maybe it would happen. So just want you guys to know that moving forward. I really think about what content I make. I really don't. I really don't just go for the response that gets me the most money or gets me the most clicks. Still to this day, my most viewed video is about MQBHD and everything Apple Pro, and I think it's kind of sad that on the YouTube platform, more people watched the video about him than the video with him. As in, like, if I did a video about iJustine, it would probably get more views than a video with iJustine. You know, I've done collaborations before with Morrison and Marquez, and while it is fun for me to finally get to meet these people I've been watching for so many years, but it honestly doesn't really bring a huge audience. A lot of you guys don't really click on that. Somewhat, not a lot of you are super interested in that, and that's fine. I'm not saying you have to be. I'm just saying, like, while a lot of the time you may be like collab. Once it happens, you may realize it's not may not be exactly all that you were hoping. At the end of the day, we are just people, and people talking to other people doesn't really spark the most interesting conversation sometimes. It's fun for me. I enjoy it because I get to visit and meet in person these people. It's just fun. But yeah, I go easy when it comes to the YouTuber response thing. So I have to get a lot of requests, and I have to get a lot of people requesting and demanding response to different YouTubers. So like you've seen, I haven't responded to Linus yet, even though I've got a lot of requests to. But the Unbox Therapy one isn't so much a particular video. It's more just his channel in general and questioning a little bit of his consistency and integrity. Prodip says, just be the way you are, and that's what I'll be. What I can confirm is that when I tried to be fake on YouTube and when I tried to just, you know, try to please as many people as I can and just try to make Apple users and Android users happy and lay right down in the middle as much as I can, people don't care. People see through that, and that doesn't work, especially for a growing YouTube channel. But when it comes to being honest with people and being upfront about everything you're thinking about a phone, no matter how bad it is, Some YouTubers don't want to say they don't like a phone. Everything's great, everything's fine, and there's a market for that. There's some people out there that just don't want to hear about complaining or hate or criticisms of products. That's not me, though, because I would be lying to you. It is my nature that when I use certain products that don't work the way I would like them to, I kind of hate them. It kind of annoys me. It frustrates me when a product doesn't work very well. So I'm going to vocalize that, and I'm just going to tell you guys exactly what I'm thinking. And if you think I'm playing it up for the video or I'm playing it up for views, just understand that off camera, I'm actually more biased towards Apple than more fair, as many people may think. Many people may think the other way. Once more, because you deserve it. Well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you guys being a part of T-Minus for the last hour. It's been a lot of fun. It's been great talking to you guys. And if you like this type of live content, you enjoy getting your questions answered live, I want you guys to know that we go live on Twitch almost every single day. And I'll be over there. So just download Twitch or go to twitch.com, make an account, and follow Talos of Tech over on Twitch. And I believe our video is just about ready. Oh, crap, it's still 360p. Well, you guys may have to wait a little bit longer to get the 1080. But I've already published the video. So there's the link. It's in the chat if you want to watch it. There's the video. It's not quite at 360p yet. Why? It's been so long. We've been waiting so long. So just wait a little bit longer maybe, and it'll become 4K at 60. But thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate all of you. This is your Apple Shapiro. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Check out that video and check out Twitch.